Monica, hey, thanks so much for joining me today. Yeah, we're going to be talking about how to prepare for your photo shoot, which is something that many of my clients are needing. So, who better to ask than you, my personal branding expert? And we've just done a shoot together as well. So, we're going to go into that a little bit in detail. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how, like, what do you do? And tell me a little bit about your background.
Hi, Carol. Thanks for having me on today. This is great. So I've been in the photography industry professionally for almost 2 decades. It's coming up for my 20th year in June this year, 2024. And it's been quite a journey for me. I've moved through many genres, and the genre that I've ended up in that I love the most is photographing women, and particularly personal branding for women. I found that I've just naturally evolved into this area of photography. I found a lot of women were contacting me for beauty shoots, and then they realized that during the beauty shoot, they actually wanted some portraits for their business. And so that's kind of how it naturally evolved. And now I'm shooting in Cape Town and Johannesburg, the UK, and Sweden. So I've got branding shoots throughout the year in various places, and yeah, I'm loving it more and more, getting to know, and I love working with clients one on one. I think that's where I feel my strength lies, when I'm actually focused on a client and I can really see them and see what it is they're wanting, because it's easy to get out there and just take a whole lot of pretty photos, but the photographs need to absolutely match the client's vision and the brand so that it tells its story. So the story is congruent throughout from beginning to end. Yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, the one thing that people have said to me about you is that you're able to capture someone's essence. So, Monica just launched a 50 over 50 campaign. I was a part of that, and we had a bit of a soiree in Cape Town. And I got to meet some of your other clients, and everyone was completely raving about certain things that you did as a photographer, how you made them feel so safe, secure, that they can then express themselves. And the photographs that came out were incredible. And that was the big feedback, that people said that you're able to extract that essence. And I think there's a similarity between what I do in the branding and you do in the shoots. So I'm sending my clients to you because I know that they're in good hands as well.
Thanks.
So I know what you do because I've been through the process myself. There's a lot of preparation before the shoot. And I want you to just take me through a little bit about your process and how you do that, so that my anyone watching can then do that process on their own, if they choose another photographer, obviously, if they're in a different location, or if they're potentially choosing you as well. So what is your process and how do you do that?
So my process is I always start off the initial consultation on Zoom with my clients so that we can meet face to face, and then we can establish the energy that's there. So I can see whether my clients are a good match for me, and they can see if I'm a good match for them, because not everybody gets on with everybody. And what I learned when I was shooting weddings years ago, that a bride may have an idea in her mind of what she wants for a shoot, and then the photographer goes to photograph it, and it doesn't, and that photographer doesn't do what the bride has wanted or visualized in her mind. So I learned from those days way back when, that the most important thing, the number one crucial step, is to actually meet your photographer. If you can't meet them for coffee in person, to actually meet over Zoom, and then really listen to your client, like dive in and hear what is it that they want, what is their business about, what is the vision for their business for the future, what are their values in their business, and then through that we both start to work out what kind of images would be needed then for the shoot. So I always get my clients to do a Pinterest board, just to get some ideas of images that they like, and then I start to work with that. But after chatting with them, I get a general idea of where they're at, what they're doing. So for example, if it's a startup company and they want something very professional, I'm not going to suggest photographs outdoors. I'm going to suggest photographs maybe in their office space that showcases the minimalism in the office. But if it's someone like a psychologist or like a therapist, I would suggest a mix, like in a beautiful home and also outdoors, that showcases the wellness and and outdoor living, being in nature, that kind of thing. So all those elements all come together and play a crucial role in the branding for a client. Yeah.
Definitely, because we want to get the right kind of look and feel so that the clients can then see what kind of person you are. And there's
Yeah.
an alignment that we all talk about, that soul alignment. And this is
Mm.
why, photographs of myself are more, I've had beach images as well, because I love the water. I've got a boho vibe, and you'll see I'm also wearing it today, like a boho summer style, which is my boho essence in my brand. And I want to bring that across, as well as the professionalism. And that's why you need to go into what makes someone special. And I think you do that
Yeah.
really well. So the preparation is really important. I'm going to share my screen because I want to share a couple of Pinterest boards so that we can show people what I've
Yeah.
done and what other clients have done as well. So I'm going to do that now. So as Monica was saying, you have to have the right style for the kind of target audience. So this is a client that we are working on who needs a slightly more professional look. Her target market is more corporates, HR, and you'll see that it's a little bit more upmarket, refined, not so many having, like a mug of tea or something like that. It's a lot more styled. Does that make sense, Monica?
Yeah, definitely. And also within that frame of seeing the Pinterest board, one can also see how professional the images are, that they're not model photographs. They are, the way the client is dressed, the way what the client is wearing, the colors that they're wearing, it all comes together to create that, in essence, that full branding experience.
Yeah. Because the thing is, we want to come across as normal people. We want to come across as relatable. So these are all great shoots as well. Great examples of poses, locations, and we'll talk about locations and wardrobe and accessories in a minute after this. But you can see, if you haven't had any experience doing a photo shoot, these are good suggestions to share it with your photographer and showing different poses that are natural, that are warm, that are open, which is what you want to have.
Yes, because what that does is that it attracts the right clients to you. So when a client, for example, a new client, let's just say you're a psychologist or like therapist, and a new client looks at your images online, if they see a photograph of you maybe sitting on your carpet and you've got your laptop, they say, this is my kind of person, because she's not stiff, she's not sitting behind a desk, she's sitting on the floor and she's relaxed, and I feel like I can open up and tell her my, the things that are on my mind because of this relaxed feeling. But in the same voice, she's wearing something beautiful, so you know that she's professional and you can trust her. So all those little things come together, and that's what creates this overall experience.
I can't emphasize enough how much photographs are important in your brand. It's one of the things that I will never advise you to not do. No matter what your budget is, professional photographs are like vital for your brand. And this is the Pinterest board that I shared with Monica before our shoot. So you'll see I was looking for something very clean. This is actually a shoot I did a while ago with me in the water, which I loved. So you'll see it doesn't always have to be on a sofa in a coffee shop. It can be like I was in the water. It was cold that day and I was struggling to maintain and I was holding the ground. So there's always a backstory, but it came out beautifully. I had that vision and it really came out great. But for this shoot with you, I wanted something a little bit more powerful, a little bit more professional, and kind of I wanted to elevate my brand. That's why I was coming to you. My existing brand shoots were outdated, and they just didn't feel like me anymore. So I came to you and I wanted something a little bit more natural, and I like the black and white.
It
And I
works
didn't
so
think
well.
that many, but we actually did such a good job. But before I share what we did together, just to show the process, I really want to talk about one of the things that people ask me all the time is location. Do I
Yeah.
need to be in a coffee shop? Do I need to be on the beach? Must I do it at home? What do you say to people like that?
So when I consult with my clients over Zoom, I always chat first and foremost about what their business is in and what their objectives are. Like what do they see? Like if a client, like I said earlier, if she is a therapist and she wants something that's showing, this wholesome life and nature and all that, then I will get her outdoors. But the shots of the coffee cups, they've been done over and over again. And I found with a lot of branding photographers, although they do beautiful job, a lot of them tend to be copying other people and getting all those images in. There are ways of working with it. Like I said to a client recently, she wanted a shot with a mug. I said to her, well, then let's really make it real. So actually make a coffee and have a coffee in that mug. Don't have an empty, coffee cup, because you want to step into that role and you want to make it believable and real. It's like, for example, when I had clients coming into my studio for a beautiful portrait shoot, they'd say, oh, is it okay if I leave my shoes off if you're not getting the shoes in the image? And I say, well, for some people it's fine, leave your shoes off, but if you put your shoes on and you're in like a suit, and even if I'm getting a 3/4 shot of you, if you put your shoes on, you step into that role of who you are, and that comes through in the images. So I think in terms of location, it's a bit the same. If you found the right location, and I help my clients do that, then you step into that role of who you are in your business, and that really comes through. So whether it be a forest, a beach, maybe like a lovely outdoor location, a cafe that you maybe love working in. There's a cafe that I work in a lot in Camps Bay that I could totally see one of my branding shoots happening in. Well, for myself, because I'm due for a new one, is it's full of plants, and I love plants. So bringing some of that into it, because you always want your personality to come through in your branding shoot as well. People need to see who you are and what you're about. So it could be your office. It may just need a little bit of a tidy up so that all the elements are in the right place. Like if you love reading, we may use some of the books that you love working with or reading. Your computer, just all the little elements. But obviously it depends on what business you're in. And I'll say to my clients, for example, that are lawyers, I've photographed quite a few lawyers that always say, oh, but my office is so boring. Then I'll get them out into the street. So like in Cape Town, I might go onto a street that's, in central Cape Town, where there's beautiful office buildings, and I'll bring some of that element in, where you've got some offices, but a bit of greenery. And then I can do like a lovely mix for them, where it's showing that, they are working in an urban environment, they're corporate, but it's still showing a little splash of nature, maybe outdoors, just with a little tree somewhere or something like that.
I love those suggestions. And following on that, one of the things that I do with my clients is go through a brand archetype exercise. At a glance, I can see what someone's archetype is, and then I will suggest the location based on that. For example, I have something called a Mystic Maven, who's generally a healer in the healing field, and most of my healing clients are in the forest, in nature. I've got one who lives in the middle of nowhere in a self-contained, home, and she's going to have, pictures with this beautiful big tree where she actually holds ceremonies and retreats. So that makes sense to have that. I have clients who are more the lavish luxe, which is more the elegant vibe. This would be a lavish luxe. And I would say, if you don't have that kind of decor at home, go to a boutique hotel.
Definitely.
And something like that in a fancy restaurant, right? People like myself, more of a boho chic, I would go to the beach and have the more boho vibes, or a beach restaurant or sand, just because I feel more in my element. That's the water element. And then finally, have like the Rebel Vixen, which is a little bit more like this, for example.
I love that.
Brighter colors, and more than likely she will be out into the urban street. There might be graffiti behind her, there might be a purple wall behind her. There's no real structure, and there's an energy of vibrancy. So each one has its own layer of energy that resonates. My advice is, don't go into a coffee shop. If you don't go into a coffee shop and work, don't be fake. don't sit outside in a restaurant somewhere if that's not what you do. So
Yeah,
like that would be a perfect shot for me. And I've got shots like that
beautiful.
out,
I love
out,
it. Yeah,
a bit of wild hair, not too contained, and on a beach. And that makes a
yeah,
difference in being comfortable in the shoot and then also having the same kind of energetic match with your clients as well.
yeah. Yeah. So what I've suggested to clients recently, because I've been diving really deep into personal branding, and I'm thinking, how can I make the experience even better for my clients now? And I suddenly thought the other day, I thought, a lot of my clients are flying in from Joburg. Most of my clients fly down from Joburg for a shoot with me. And then they're always looking for hotels. So then I started thinking, what about if they booked a beautiful Airbnb that matches what they are wanting, element wise in their shoot. And then recently a client came over from Germany, and I photographed her 2 weeks ago, and she sent me a few links to Airbnbs, and I'd seen what color branding she was. So I said to her, no, let's go with this like specific Airbnb, and it was in Greenpoint. So I met her there. We did a shoot there, and she actually spent the night there before and the night afterwards. So it really helped as well to have all her clothes in one place and all her jewelry and everything. So we didn't have to be carrying bags around, on a beach. And I suggested to her, for any shots that we're going to do outdoors, she just put that outfit on and we head outdoors and go and do it. So an Airbnb is a great way to do it, because it also makes it a little bit more economical, because you're going to need to have a place to sleep anyway. So you get a place to sleep, and then your photographer meets you there and does the photographs there. And what my client did as well, I suggested to her, is to go to a furniture store. So she actually ended up going to Mr. Price. It doesn't have to be expensive. And she bought a couple of pillows that were on brand with her work. And then she bought a few candle holders and a few little elements of things that she loved. And then we just worked with those as well during the shoot, and it ended up being really, really beautiful. I'm going to be posting those later on this week. Yeah, it was really fun
Brilliant.
shoot.
I love that idea. So yeah, obviously Monica's details are going to be in the video. So please go and follow her on social media and see what kind of photographs other people are doing. You can always get some inspiration. So my shoot, the one that I did, I think a year or 2 years ago, I did the same thing. I hired a beautiful beach house in Cape Town, because I don't live in Cape Town, and beautiful kind of wooden furniture, but kind of upmarket looking. So we started off in the office that was really beautiful, like industrial. It was gorgeous, and then ended up in the pool at the end of the shoot, because we were just playing around. So there's pictures of me, if you see on my social media, there's that. And I think that's a great idea about a location. And you'll feel more comfortable. The whole thing about creating these great photographs is comfort and safety. So having you as a woman working with other women, there's that level that you can drop deeper, and you can feel more comfortable, and that is going to show in the pictures. So even if you look at these, this could be a shoot from a same photo shoot, but I want to talk about like how comfortable she's looking, and I also want to talk about the different formats of shooting as well, because clients sometimes make the mistake. I'm going to chat about some mistakes I've made in shoots, and also shoots that because I see people giving me their photographs all the time. When I design websites, I am viewing images, and some just don't work. And the reason, I'm going to share the reasons, and Monica will probably back me up on this, is that we've got to have a variety of portrait and landscape.
Yes.
So sometimes people only do portrait size, which makes it very difficult for your designer, anyone who's working on your work, on your designs, to then create graphics out of that and create a website, because we need headers on your social media, we need headers on your website, and that would be perfect for this kind of picture here, where she's on the couch and we have space next to her that's white. We can put copy there, and people forget about that. That's the one thing that people do. Second thing, people tend to sometimes crop the picture so tight that we can't make we can extend the background as well.
Yeah.
So this might be the one on the left. I don't know if you can see my mouse. It's a bit tight. So sometimes you want a bit of space so that people can then crop where you need them to crop. This, and also black and white and color. I would say that those are great ideas.
Carol, the images aren't showing up for me this side. Are they meant to be showing up? I'm just.
Yes, they are. They are. I'm screen sharing.
I'm not sure why it's not.
It's very
yeah, it's not showing up on my screen. I don't know why.
Are you seeing this? Are you seeing anything sharing?
No, nothing.
Okay, I'm going to stop share.
Okay, let's try that again.
Let me try again. Can you see that?
Oh, now we go. There, now I've got it. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, no, that's perfect. Okay, great.
Perfect. Thanks. Yeah, I know that's amazing.
So yeah, I was just showing different, this is what I was sharing here, this kind of set of photographs where there's different landscape and portrait, which is
divine.
Yeah. And then different things, like even having some, you know, maybe you're writing in a journal, if that's what you do with your clients. I've had people reading books. I've seen photographs from my clients rolling around in the water, because that's what their business is about.
What they do.
Yeah. That's what they do. They get really kind of deep, and there's more transformational healing work versus someone who is extremely more professional looking, and that will reflect in the photographs.
Yeah.
Next thing is one thing that people talk about or ask me is the your clothing. So what kind of clothing do you wear? Does it have to be your brand colors? And I'd love to hear your take on that.
So when I meet with clients over Zoom or in person, some of my clients, or many of my clients, say to me, oh, I only ever wear black, I don't wear anything else. And then I'll say to them, have you ever considered any other colors? And I'm very good with colors on people, so I can see someone and go, do you know what, you'd look fantastic in turquoise. Sometimes my clients look at me and go, oh, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. And I'll say, why don't you just give it a go? And then I'll come up with, once they've told me, you know, these are the colors I'm thinking of having for my website, or if they're working with someone like you, Carol, and you've kind of gone through an overview of color, I always like to encourage them to bring a little bit of that color into their shoot as well. Yeah. Because black is beautiful, and I also love having black in my photographs, like when I'm getting photographed. But it's also quite important to have that little bit of element of other colors that are in it, whether it's, you know, if you're wearing a black dress, maybe it's beautiful turquoise earrings or something that's going to just add another little pop of life to the images. Yes. So I always guide my clients with that. And sometimes it's quite interesting, but some clients I've had in the past as well, they don't know what clothes look good on them because they're so used to wearing the clothes that they wear, and they're kind of in default mode. So like I sometimes had during the 50 by 50, I had a couple of clients come in and I said to them, oh my gosh, have you ever worn gold? And the one client was from Germany, and she said, no, I've never worn gold. I don't think I look good in gold. And then myself and the makeup artist said, just put this gold top on. And she put it on and she walked to the mirror, and I wish I'd videoed her because she put her hands up over her mouth and she said, oh my God, I can't believe that I look so good in gold. Yeah. I've never worn it. Yeah. So I always encourage my clients to be a little bit more playful in their shoots and to explore a bit of color. It doesn't have to be a lot. Like if they've got a minimalist website and they want a lot of white on their website, I'd say that's absolutely fine, but bring that little element of color in and you'll see it'll just bring that extra life and energy to the session.
I agree totally. And this is a good representation of that.
Absolutely, yes.
With this, it's a normal looking entrepreneur, and you can see that her colors are subtly blue and green, and there's a bit of gold and white. Now, look how she's done that. She's worn whites and grays, white and jeans, a little bit of a black here, but you can see
Yeah.
how those elements are coming through. Don't forget, we see your brand as a whole. There's different aspects of that. So
Yeah.
her accessory, she's got a really big, chunky necklace, which is just holds the whole picture together. You'll see she's got a coffee mug over there. It's well-placed things that give a glimpse into her life. And I think
Yeah.
that's a really good way to stylize different aspects of her brand, but it still looks like the whole is together.
Yeah, and what I love about this board as well is the versatility of having horizontal images and portrait images. You can see like the portrait ones are more in on her, horizontal ones give more of like showcase like her work, you know, what she's doing. It gives you a little bit of look into like how she's working. I think all those things are so important. Like you were saying earlier about having the mix of images. So important to have that.
So these are some of the images that we did together, and I wanted to have a black background, and I wanted some texture in here. I wanted to keep it very simple and clean, but you'll see that I've got earrings that were really bold, and they kind of rounded off the picture, put everything together. And obviously we took a lot of pictures. You don't need a lot of pictures. The perfect number is probably around 50, that you probably need 20 to 50 that you could use over your website and social media as well. You can see how that gold just hits the light and it comes out so beautifully. So that was really great. And you'll see the main picture that I'm using is this one here. This one was the one I chose. So you'll see how I use the accessories. I got my nails done as well. The big thing is, you know, I do advise you to get your nails done beforehand.
Yeah.
Accessories are important. If I didn't have that gold bangle, it wouldn't hold it together.
Yeah, and that's what I mean with the black. So you can still look beautiful in black and then have that little pop. And you did that so well with the bangles and the earrings. Yeah.
I remember we were sitting by the light and you were like, oh my God, this is the light, this is the picture. And we were just having a chat. We chatted most of the time, but we were just having a chat and you're like, stay there, I'm getting my camera. So some things, even though you're not planning them, this pose was not planned. This was done just because the light was natural. It was coming through the window. And it was a little bit later on in the day and I was relaxed and I really was having a lot of fun. Obviously, we just ended up talking.
I think that's the key though, is I think with meeting clients over Zoom first and then meeting in person, a client can feel that they're then meeting a friend because we've built up this connection. So when they then come in for a photo shoot, that initial nervous feeling that most people feel before they're getting photographed, like I always say to my clients, I'd rather like have a tooth pulled than be photographed because it always makes me so anxious. But if I know the photographer, then it makes it so much easier. You know, you can meet up with your photographer and you have a coffee and a chat, and then you really step into who you are in that business because your photographer is talking to you the whole time about yourself, about your clients, you know, like how they deal with clients, all those little elements come into it. And then you get that right feeling out of your client during the shoot because you're tapping into them and they stepping into the version of themselves that is as business owner and who they want to be, you know, for their client and how they want to show up for their client. Yeah.
So you'll see I didn't use a lot of my wardrobe was, you know, black, gold, and quite you know, kind of funky-ish colors, but not over the top. One of the mistakes I did make on the shoot was I wasn't prepared with regards to my underwear. And you actually lent me one of your bras. So just a heads up, make sure that the underwear is you know, works with your costume with your wardrobe changes as well, so that everything kind of fits together in a you know, well. Any other advice that you could give someone when it comes to wardrobe?
So what I do advise, as you mentioned, Bra, I had a little chuckle because I will often say to my clients when they come into a photo shoot, especially if it's like in summer and they want a shoot done, like say at the beach or something, or even in studio, I'd say to them, you know, arrive at my studio without your bra on, because some clients will come and they want a beautiful shot on, and there's no they've got like a top on where the shoulders are showing, and then sometimes it's a lower back, and then you can see the bra mark.
Yes.
And that really takes a long time. Even though I've got a retouching team working for me, they're always going, you know, your clients, the bra marks, and it can take, because sometimes with the back has a curve, it's very tricky to then edit that. So I always suggest to my clients, you know, arrive at my house without your bra on. And it sounds a bit weird, but then you can put it on when you're here and then have it accordingly to whatever outfit you're wearing. But Carol, I'm actually putting together a lovely brochure for clients that I'm getting printed. It's going to have everything in it from, you know, how to prepare, what to wear, what, you know, everything that you can think about is going to be there in one brochure. And it's going to include the whole thing about like the, you know, the jewelry and the bra and what to think about and that, because those little things really make a difference, you know, especially if you've got something like a halter neck, or you've got one of those dresses where it's tied around, and then you suddenly arrive and you're like, oh crap, I wore the wrong bra, and then there's these straps on the shoulders. It's not going to look great. Yeah,
that would be great. I promise you, it's great to prepare, because it does help alleviate the nerves and the stress and the fear. If it's one of your first times, I deal with a lot of clients that this is the first time they're getting a professional photograph taken. One of the other things that I wouldn't recommend, I had a client send me some pictures. They were she had sunglasses in each photograph. So I would advise against sunglasses, because we can't see your eyes and we can't see the energy of your you know, who you are and what makes you special. You'll see I made a point of doing my eyes with a lot of these pictures, just because it's a form of connection. So I would advise against sunglasses as well.
And also sunglasses, I find that sunglasses, when I do family shoots, it's often the men that have their glasses. They, oh, we want to just keep our glasses. And I say, yeah, that's fine. But in 5 or 10 years' time, when you're looking back at your portraits, you're going to think, why did I wear those glasses? Because they would have dated.
Yeah.
They're not going to be cool in 5 years' time. So rather just have them off. You know, the same goes with heavy patterns. I always say, don't, you know, if you're having a branding shoot, don't wear really heavy patterns on your clothing. Unless it's, you know, unless it's in your business that you're working with those kind of, you know, patterns or something, but rather stick to, like, your patterning is beautiful. It's not loud, and it's not, you know, lines and crosses and circles and crazy fabric.
And I did want to bring, you know, the bit of an African vibe through to my brand, because I am in Africa.
Yeah, you had that spot on.
You know, it's that the elegance and the African vibe. So you'll see I've used these pictures. Now, once you've had the pictures, the way to use them is obviously on your website, but things like my Work With Me service menu, you know, I use it in that. I'm updating my websites, and I'm changing things around. This is a bit of an old website for now, but we're changing it. But you'll see how this is now working, and how I've used this picture, and more than likely used for a branding perspective, try and pick one picture and use it again and again as a highlight portrait picture. And that could be used in your social medias, profile pictures, and even your Zoom profile picture, LinkedIn profile picture, YouTube profile picture. Like, change it across all platforms so that there's that consistency. So when you have, and I've seen people make the mistake of, once they have these pictures, and they still keep their old profile pictures that they got taken at a birthday party several years ago. So my advice is, once you've got them, use them. Like, use them all over. And it's okay if you use them again and again. Even on social media, that's okay, because we're building up that brand consistency. There's a recognition from your clients that you are consistent, you are visible, and you are present as well.
Yeah, and it does create that connection with them when they keep seeing that image. on different platforms. I'm like, oh, there she is. Oh, there she is. It's, yeah.
Do you have anything else, Monica, that you would like to share with anyone that might be preparing for their shoots?
Yes. So I also tell my clients it can be very overwhelming when you decide that you want to have your branding done, whether it's to work with someone like you, Carol, or to work with a photographer, because you feel like you have to know everything. But that is what we're here for. We're here to guide you and to help you to see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And it's really on the day of the shoot, I say to my clients, the most important thing is that you're actually having fun on the day. It doesn't have to be this big mission that's so serious. It can be fun, and then you really get the most beautiful portraits because you're relaxed into your body. You're not sitting with your shoulders up going, oh God, I wish this would end now. How many more minutes is this going to be? I've had clients before, when I did my first campaign, I had a client that came in and she said, how long is this going to be? And I said, about an hour and a half. She goes, oh God, I thought it was going to be like 20 minutes. How many pictures are you going to take of me? And I said, no, we chat and we shoot. And then as I'm getting into the shoot, so you start to relax more, and then those images start to come through. So definitely relax and have fun with it. And it doesn't have to be, a stressful experience. Just make it like part of your, part of a day where you're going to have this amazing new experience. Think of it like going for a kayak, where you think, oh, I've never kayaked before. I'm going to go and test this out. So you come and have a photo shoot done, and you just have this, you walk away with this newfound confidence, and you actually walk away having stepped into the vision of your future self. Because when you see those images of yourself, you'll be like, oh my gosh, there I am. That's the me that I was visioning in my business, and now I'm her. And I think that's really powerful when you're having branding pictures done. Yeah.
I think for me, it's like a self-love day. Go to a spa the day before.
Yes.
Sink into that. Don't forget that we don't really speak about hair and makeup, but you will be pampered that day. You'll go into hair and makeup first, then you'll get your wardrobe, and then obviously, then the photographs get taken. And before that, you're probably working with a branding person. So it's an accumulation of your glam squad looking after, making you feel like $1 million, because you deserve it. Like you absolutely deserve it. And I would highlight, if you can do anything in your branding, is the photos come first. And also another thing I'd like to share is that the photographs do date. So keep on adding to that. Maybe once every 6 months, once a year, you have a new set taken, because you want to keep on adding to your branding photographs throughout your social media as well. And also, finally, as well, is that in addition to your branding pictures, when it comes to being visible, also take pictures that are more natural looking as well. I think some of the most successful brands I've seen are the ones that have these beautiful photographs taken, and there's pictures of them doing things with family, going on a kayak. So we want to see a balance of who you are, this incredible woman that you are role you're stepping into, as well as your life, wife, mom, entrepreneur, adventure seeker, traveler. Like, share that as well in conjunction with these great pictures. You have to have that balance. And I think when people do just professional photographs, it's not as authentic and real as having people having a bit of both.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree, because I think to myself, like, if I see someone online that I want to work with, and I see that maybe they've got a cat or a dog in their images, I'm more drawn to them because I love animals. So I'd be like, oh, she's got a cat. That's so cool. And then it kind of makes me have that little connections. I think showing people, like, not just who you are professionally, but who you are in your life, like what your values are. Like if you've got a shot, like you said, with your family. I often do that with my clients as well. At the end of a shoot, especially with my 50 over 50, if a husband or, a daughter's come to fetch the mom, then I'll say, come in for a picture, and then we'll do something for them together. But Carol, what I was going to say to you, for all your clients, I'm probably going to need about another month or so putting it together and getting it printed. But for all your clients, I'm happy to send you a few magazines that you can hand out to them, that they no pressure at all to book me, but for them just to see the outline of
That would be
a
great.
brand, you know, how to prepare even the simplest things, like you said, like, you know, drinking water before a shoot and having a manicure and a pedicure. Even if your feet aren't going to be in the image, just knowing that your feet feel amazing and they look amazing will also just bring that into the confidence into the image. So your clients, I can give them each a magazine from you know, that will hold everything in there about how to prepare.
Thank you. That's great, because I do feel that there's a lot of questions that come up, and watching this video or having that kind of reference to look at is going to just make them feel more at ease before they come to you or anyone else. There has to be that element, like I said earlier on, about comfort and safety, so that the real you can shine through. We want the reason for the photograph is really to make that connection with your clients. Like, that's what we're doing. And that's how you sell, is through connection, authentic connection. That's why part of that your brand archetype is so important, because I want you, me as your branding person, and whoever your photographer is, we work on who you are and bring out that natural, unique qualities that you have. We don't want to do anything that's been done before by somebody else. We want you to be the star. And that I've seen the difference in people's perception, and that's what branding is about, perception. So we want to shift people's perception of you so you can raise your prices. You'll have the confidence to launch that offer that you've been sitting on for so long. You will have the inspiration to do things that you hadn't done before. And that's what the shoot is about, in essence.
Yeah, and it's inevitable, actually. I've seen it with every single client that has had a photo shoot done and had their branding done properly. They've all been able to raise prices and then bring in clients that are willing to pay more. So it's you know, a lot of people say, oh, but it's such a big investment in the beginning, and I understand it really is, but it's like one of those things, like, if I hadn't invested in my coach, I wouldn't have taken my business to where it is today. And when I look back, you know, the investment that I made in my coach, I've made 10 times what I invested in him. So it just, you have to put that little bit in to get something out, and it's never a waste. It's always going to better your business, because that's what people are seeing, and then the right clients are going to buy into that.
100%. If you can afford one thing, it would be a branding shoot. The return on investment is absolutely huge, and it does shift your business and your perception of yourself so much, and that is priceless. I talk about collapsing timelines, and having a shoot will collapse your timeline. So if you don't have one, you'll get there eventually. But if you do make these small shifts in your business, you'll get there sooner, and then you will have that time and money freedom. That's why we started being an entrepreneur in the first place. What happens is that we end up working harder than we did in corporates. But I want people to move through this process very quickly, so they get to that phase where you and I are now. We talk about that when we meet up. It's about enjoying our wealth, right? About investing our wealth, enjoying time and freedom. That's what we're doing this for. And having a shoot is definitely a big step in that right direction.
Yeah, it really is. I need to get a new one done for myself now. I'm just looking for a photographer at the moment. Find somebody to photograph me. I'm going to England in June. I'm doing some personal branding shoots in the UK in June. And I've been collaborating with a photographer there as well that does personal branding shoots over there. So she said, oh, why don't we do a trade? You know, I can photograph you and you can photograph me. I said, okay, fine. But I almost feel that I need some new ones now, but it is March, and I suppose June is around the corner. Hate to say, but you know, the month's already going so quickly.
I know, it's going very quickly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. You know, I absolutely adore spending time with you, and I've met you in several times. Yeah. And we'll continue to do that. So thank you for your time and sharing your expertise. You are an absolute master. So anyone watching, please go and find Monica Dart on socials, follow her, get inspiration for her life that she's leading. and who she is becoming as an entrepreneur in your own right, and how you support women into sharing their beauty and their light with the world.
Oh, thank you. I took up goosebumps as you said that.
Oh.
That's always a good sign. Yeah, but thanks as well. It's been amazing. And like I said, I'm going to send you some magazines for clients, and then that will be sent off in the next few weeks once I finalize the bags. Yeah. Awesome. It's been lovely chatting and looking forward to seeing you again. I'm
Yes,
sure it'll be Cape Town or Knysna.
definitely.
Yeah.
Bye,
Okay.
Monica. Cheers.
Thanks, Carol.
Bye.
Bye.